Greetings, it is I, Tempest Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion on the Pathfinder role-playing game system. Well, where we last left off, we were talking about special abilities that creatures, spells, and sometimes player characters could evenly gain. So, let's dive deeper into them. Blindsight and blindsense. Both of these are basically abilities that you have to sense things around you without your eyes. Maybe it's feeling vibrations on the ground, detecting something in some other way. Effectively, it allows you to notice things around you without having to have actual vision. Now, they come in multiple forms. It is important to note that, of course, blindsense is a lesser version of blindsight. It's not as efficient. Both of them have their basic full rules within the book. If a creature has channel resistance, it basically has bonuses to its will saves against channeling energy. This could be both positive or negative. It tends to be more against positive energy. This tends to be an ability that more undead have, effectively resisting the attempts to channel against them. But again, anything could technically have channel resistance. Now, there are a number of ways to affect the minds of those around you. There are two common ones that we do want to talk about today, in particular, charms and compulsions. Charms themselves are effectively spells or special abilities of monsters which override a creature's ability to detect you as a friend or foe. They instantly feel that you're a friend. They listen to your suggestions. This isn't about servitude. This is about that you're now this really great best friend of them, and you're going to listen to the target of your charm is going to listen to every suggestion that you give. It's all about that subtle manipulation of your new friend in order to get what you want. On the other hand, a compulsion is much more powerful. This is effectively a kind of servitude. You're ordering them around, you're commanding them as you see fit because you have this compulsion over them. It is important to note that neither creature under a charm or compulsion will willingly give up any kind of information. Their master effectively has to ask something of them in order to get this information, whether it's in the form of suggestion or the order, depending on if it's a charm or a compulsion. Both effectively you're gaining a grip on the creature's mind, putting your little tendrils into them to control them. Some creatures have the supernatural ability to, well, shrug off damage. They basically, if they're under attack, attacks may instantly heal, they could just deflect off their skin. Whatever reason, they have a protection against these attacks. This is referred to as damage reduction. Damage reduction, though, can oftentimes be overcome by specific types of attacks listed with that damage reduction. If you're looking at damage reduction, it's represented by first a number. This number represents the amount of damage, well, is being reduced from your attacks against this creature. There will then be a slash, and after that will be another word. This word will represent the, well, how I could overcome this damage reduction. If it's just another dash, so slash and dash, this means it can't be overcome. It's just I'm reducing damage on every attack, just regardless. This tends to be the most powerful form of damage reduction and tends to be very small in number. Now, this isn't to say this applies to everything. Certain types of things, like energy types of damage, fire, cold, or electric, they don't do anything with damage reduction. They ignore it completely. It's something else entirely. They don't factor it in. Also, it's important to note that if damage reduction should reduce damage and there's something like a poison or a special attack associated with it, you ignore that. On the other hand, if it's a special attack that doesn't rely on damage or a special ability that doesn't rely on damage, damage reduction doesn't apply. So if I just merely have to touch someone to poison them, oh, well, then they won't be poisoned. While if I'm stabbing them and I fail to overcome their damage reduction, then the poison doesn't go through. So you can see how there is a distinction in the way that abilities that are special that your creature might be delivering might have to deal with damage reduction, might not. It is important to note that spells themselves overcome damage reduction. Now, damage reduction can represent, as I said, instant healing or really tough hide skin kind of natural armor, regardless of what it is. When I would attack a creature with damage reduction, I know it. I've realized that my sword or my attack is less effective against this creature than it would be. Now, it's important to note if a creature has multiple types of damage reduction from either natural or other sources, they don't stack. The best damage reduction at the time applies. So if all damage reduction applies, best one is what's taking off the damage. If one's overcome but another is not, then the one that isn't overcome will be applied. Now, when it comes to overcoming damage reduction, there are multiple things that do it. perhaps certain types of metals. Magic sometimes do, magic weapons. A certain type of alignment might do it, or certain types of attacks like slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing. Regardless of which overcomes it, your weapon will have to match it. Certain ones have just a single thing you can overcome. Some say or. Others will say this and that you'll need both to overcome. Now, there's also the possibility that you're going to be using ranged weapons. In this case, the ammunition would have to have either special material if you're using it that way, or if you have a magic bow or alignment-based bow and you're shooting out an arrow, that arrow, or for whatever example, other projectile weapon that you're firing from something, will be imparted with that magic aura / alignment-based aura. Again, everything else will be the nature of the projectile itself to determine if it overcomes damage reduction. Now, this isn't the only way you can overcome damage reduction, though. Let's say I have a huge enhancement bonus on my weapon of 3 or more. Guess what? I'm beginning to overcome damage reductions. Now, weapon-based overcoming does not apply to type. Well, you're already overcoming magic because it's magical, but it will overcome certain types of material-based damage reduction and eventually alignment-based damage reduction with this. There's a table in the book to reference all the overcoming using straight enhancement bonus. It's important to note there is a DR epic, which you need an enhancement bonus of 6 or more, effectively something characters normally can't get. So, yeah, you're probably not going to be overcoming that. Now let's finish up today by talking about darkvision. Darkvision is a special type of vision that allows you to see, well, in the dark. You require no light, and instead you see everything in black and white. Darkvision, it's important to note that you see everything you normally would see with your eyes. It doesn't hide anything. It just makes it that you can see through the darkness. It doesn't reveal anything invisible, nothing like that. And it is also important to note that any source of light does not interfere with your dark vision. Effectively, you would see everything as normal light areas, and if there's a shadowy dark area, it goes to black and white in there. You basically can ignore the darkness in a section of the room that you're in, because it will layer these. You do have both visions at the same time. It's just that your normal color-based vision, full with light, overrides the dark vision. That's it. And that's it for today. So I introduced you to some more special abilities. I, of course, talked a little bit about a few of them, like the blindsight, the channel resistance, and the dark vision, and I dove into 2 very important ones. Charms and compulsions, because both monsters and players will use those at some point in time. If you're playing something like a wizard or a bard, there's a very good chance you could have, well, charm person. And you understanding how the charm that you have works? Great idea. Also, there's plenty of monsters that could do it against you. And of course, I dove into a very important one, damage reduction, because it's going to come up, period. You're going to fight a monster, somewhere along the way, damage reduction. Heck, if someone's playing a barbarian on a team, they can get damage reduction too. So of course, it will come up, and this is an important one to talk about. In the next episode, though, we are going to dive deeper into some more special abilities because there are still some more to talk about. Some more minor ones that we do want to mention, and some more very important ones which we're going to talk about a lot. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It shows support the channel, the empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon. Link in the description below. There's some great rewards there. It helps to grow and improve both the channel and the empire. Regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.